A new Sonic fan game just dropped, and I discovered it through some viral tweets. I checked it and was completely surprised. It's called Sonic Daybreak. It has 3 levels, was made over 2 years of development, and honestly, it feels like a true evolution of modern Sonic, integrating the momentum and physics philosophy from the classic games, without making the levels too empty or open-ended like many other fan games do. I'm not exaggerating, this isn't another fan game where you spin dash off a ramp and fly over 90% of the level. This is something different, something that feels like it actually understands what made Sonic work in the first place. The levels are big and dense, the songs are catchy, and the gameplay is a great proof of concept of how Sonic could look like if it went back to some of its classic momentum roots, while keeping the modern emphasis on quick reactions and reflexes. This is Mr. Fascinating, and today, let's explore how a small team spent 2 years crafting what might be the new best style of Sonic game. Let's explain every detail of the game and a bit of the history behind its creation. Here's the thing about 3D Sonic fan games. Most of them fall into the same trap. They take one aspect of gameplay, like momentum or non-linearity, and push it so far that the game stops being a game. You've seen it already. Wide open levels where you can skip everything because the designers were so obsessed with freedom that they forgot to give you a reason to engage with anything. And look, I get it. These games come from a place of love, developers trying to recapture what the adventure games felt like, or what the classics were building towards. But wanting something and understanding how to build it are two different things. There's a reason the 3D games have exploration, collectibles, and precise platforming. It's not padding. When you're moving through 3D space at high speed, you need gameplay beats. You need reasons to slow down, look around, make decisions. Otherwise, you're just holding forward and occasionally jumping. Sonic Daybreak understands this in a way most fan games don't, and you can feel it immediately. I found Sonic Daybreak through viral tweets. People were posting clips with these rainbow after-image trails, Sonic grinding on rails while spin dashing, dynamic camera angles that made everything feel cinematic. So I downloaded it, and at first, I played like absolute garbage. I was missing jumps, running into walls, falling into pits, playing at IGN journalist levels of incompetence, the kind of gameplay that would get you roasted in the comments. And for a moment I thought, maybe this isn't for me, maybe this is too different from the Sonic games I'm familiar with. But then something clicked. I stopped trying to play it like Frontiers. I stopped expecting the game to guide me with an automated camera and boost pads that do the work for me. I started actually looking at the levels, planning routes, building momentum intentionally instead of just reacting, and suddenly I felt something I haven't felt playing Sonic in years. Real speed and freedom. This was different and earned. The rainbow trail started to kick in. Sonic was moving. I was treading through platforms, rolling down slopes, carrying momentum through sections that would have breaks that killed my speed in any other Sonic game. My PC is a potato. I played at the lowest settings and resolution, but Daybreak ran. If my terrible PC can handle it, anyone can play this game. Let's talk about what Sonic Daybreak actually does. Project lead Novazaru had a risky vision, and he saw it through. Daybreak takes inspiration from the momentum and physics from classic Sonic, gaining speed rolling down hills, jumping higher, getting to the tip of slopes, but it doesn't just copy the classics, it evolves them into 3D space in a way that feels natural. The levels aren't wide open playgrounds where you can skip everything, they are dense, packed with routes that intersect and diverge, with platforming that requires precision, with shortcuts that feel actually earned and not obvious. If shortcuts take less effort than the intended route, it's not a skip anymore, it's just bad design. Daybreak gets this. The game draws from Sonic Adventure's controlled openness. You have room to explore, to find alternate paths, but the level is still guiding you, still teaching you, still giving you challenges that make you feel smart when you overcome them. The game actually recommends you to use keyboard and mouse. Controlling the camera is very important to control Sonic himself and to nail certain jumps. But here's the wildest part. It doesn't have the boost from Unleashed or Colors. It actually takes inspiration from the boost from Sonic Sonic Advance 2, that first early boost mechanic where you build up speed by running fast long enough, and suddenly Sonic kicks into overdrive. Here it happens with a rainbow trail. No official Sonic game has done that in 3D before. Nobody thought to take that specific mechanic and translate it into 3 dimensions. It works perfectly. The rainbow after image isn't just visual flair, it's feedback. It tells you you're playing well, that you've earned the speed, and with that speed comes new options. Rails you can grind faster, jumps you can clear, routes that open up. Every move in Daybreak has a purpose. The spin dash isn't just for going fast, you can use it on rails. On rails. Why has no game done this before? It's such an obvious thing that nobody thought to implement. Wall running isn't just an automated spectacle. You need to approach at the right angle or you lose all your momentum and fall. Tricks aren't superfluous. In Sonic Rush, tricks gave you something to do during long jumps and made those moments feel active instead of passive. Daybreak brings that back. The game has a dedicated trick button, and it changes everything. You're not just waiting to land, you're engaging with the movement, styling, staying in the flow state. I played the tutorial level over and over, not because the game told me to, it was because I wanted to, because finding the optimal route, optimizing every movement, felt satisfying in a very unique way. Then there's Tropical Haven and Minty Slopes, big dance levels. The kind of levels where you play through once and then realize you saw maybe 40% of what's actually there. The red rings in this game are extremely well hidden, and that's amazing. You know what happens in Sonic games. You find the optimal route, you master it, and then you never explore the rest of the level again. Why would you? You've solved it. But when collectibles are hidden throughout the level, actually hidden, not just placed on the obvious alternate path, suddenly you have a reason to explore, to see what else the designers built, and it adds so much to the gameplay. I think Minty Slopes is my favorite level. It's the last level in the demo, and it's where everything comes together. The level has distinct paths, but they are not just high routes and low routes. They interweave. They offer different challenges, different skips, different moments of spectacle. The level design encourages rolling and momentum. Slopes are positioned so you want to roll down them, because yes, E is a rolling button in this game, as if it was a Genesis title. Platforms are spaced, so jumping off ramps feels natural. The game teaches you through design. I think the soundtrack, by Xeno, reminded me a bit of Sonic Runners. The levels have great music, and here's something most fan games miss: dynamic camera angles. Sonic Daybreak has moments where the camera pulls back or shifts perspective to show off a set piece, to make a jump feel more epic, to give you a sense of scale. But let's talk about what it took for the developers to make this. 2 years. That's how long the core team worked on this demo, for 3 levels. And one of the developers, the level designer Zack the Insomniac, just released a video talking about a bit of the development process. It's brutal and honest. The first build of Tropical Haven was terrible. The developer admits it. He was obsessed with openness, with freedom, with recreating the feeling of Sonic GT, but he completely missed the point. Open doesn't automatically mean good. You need structure. The player must feel like they have a direction. The early version was a confusing mess. It had loops everywhere, not because they served a gameplay purpose, but because the designer thought they looked cool, and every single one could be skipped by just jumping over. They were pointless geometry that adds nothing. There was even a volcano section. You'd platform around it, eventually go inside. It never got finished. The designer realized it wasn't fun, and the level was already too long, so it got cut. That's what good development looks like. Killing your darlings when they don't serve the experience. His inspirations kept changing. First it was Sonic GT, then Unleashed, Adventure, the classics, even Mario Galaxy and Astrobot. He was pulling from everywhere, trying to figure out what worked. And for months, The levels reflected that confusion, but then something shifted. A few months before release, he had a realization: this needs to be a platformer first, not a physics sandbox. This is when enemies actually started to matter, when obstacles became meaningful. Daybreak added these little fire enemies, and suddenly you had to think more, you had to react and evade them. Minty Slopes got a massive overhaul 3 or 4 months before release. The level was too linear, so they added an entire second route and redid half the stage. That's insane. And the visuals, the beautiful dreamlike aesthetic that makes Daybreak stand out, that was done in a month. 1 month. At the start of August, Minty Slopes still had placeholder models and textures. By September, it looks like this. That's Lorenzo Pace, an environment artist who went absolutely feral and transformed the entire level. Some of the most memorable moments in the demo were last-minute additions because the team refused to settle. The developer team said they have plans. They have an idea of how the story of the game will unfold, how some of the next levels may be like. They have a vision, and they want to see it through. Daybreak is not going to hold your hand. It's not going to automate the fun parts. You need to learn the controls, understand the camera, and build muscle memory. For players willing to put in that effort, it rewards you with one of the most satisfying Sonic experiences in a while. The game strikes a balance that seems impossible. The experimental open-ended design of Adventure 1, the moment-to-moment, reaction-based gameplay of Adventure 2, and the boost games. And on top of that, the momentum of the classics. It's everything Sonic has been, evolved into something that feels new. It makes you search for a spin dash shortcut that feels straight out of Sonic Adventure. They are integrated into the environment, cleverly hidden, rewarding exploration and experimentation. And that's what makes Daybreak important. It's a statement that this kind of Sonic game can exist and resonate with modern audiences who have been raised on boost games and open zones. I'm not saying Sega should drop the Frontiers formula and do something like Daybreak. They are completely different games. Frontiers is about exploration and discovery. Daybreak is about mastery and flow state. Both have value, but imagine if Sega took note, if they incorporated pieces of Daybreak's new style into future games. Sonic has always been at his best when he's evolving. Daybreak is proof that there's still room for it, that fans are hungry for experiences that challenge them. Sonic Daybreak isn't perfect. It has a few crashes, it has collision bugs, the homing attack sometimes targets the wrong thing, but perfection isn't the point. The point is, it understands Sonic in a way most games, official or fan-made, don't. It understands that speed is earned, not given. Sonic's about skill and flow, that perfect run where everything clicks and you feel like you are in some kind of dance. 3 levels, 2 years, 1 small team, and a vision that might just show what Sonic can still become. Since we're talking about things Sega can learn from, click the video that's appearing on screen before it disappears to find out why Sonic Crossroads managed to compete with Mario while Superstars didn't.